What's up, guys? Tilo here for the Parley, sponsored by 60/40 Club. If you want to know more about Kendall Gill's regimen, you got to check out 60/40. The link is in the description box. Or just do me a favor, go follow KG. He's there every morning showing me up at 5 in the morning on the field while I'm sleeping, being fat. Check them out. 60/40 Club, again, an awesome program that Kendall Gill does run. And also sponsored by Vida for Life. Hey, man, if you need help with market-based growth, loss protection, guaranteed income for life, tax advantages, flexibility, and personalization of your income, and trying to invest in an annuity and your funds, you got to check out Vida for Life. Jado is the man. He will take good care of you, and he will make sure that you are in good hands. All right, guys, it's the second episode of 2025, and let me tell you, it has been a very, very fun first month of boxing news. We have so much to get into, but also we do have some special guests in the building, a friend of the show, and also a former boxer, a championship boxer, and I cannot wait to introduce them. And so let's just do that right now. First, Jesus, man, from Northside Evanston Boxing. Good to see you, my boy.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Always like being here with you.
Yeah, man. You know, you've been asking me about coming on the show for some time now, and I was like, yeah, man, anytime you want. And then a year passed. Yeah, we finally got you in the studio, bro. So most definitely, it's an honor to have you here with us. And also, man, a guy who I used to watch when I was a kid. Boxing, didn't even know it was him until later on in life. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I know exactly who this is. But Frez, make sure you say his last name right. Is it
Oquendo?
Oquendo, right? You gotta say it with the Spanish accent. Oquendo.
Yeah, that's slang, you know.
Frez Oquendo in the building, from heavyweight champion, man. Also, Puerto Rican boxer and star amateur boxer. This guy has done it all. Nate Jones, big buddy of his as well. Frez, it's an honor to have you in the studio today, man.
Likewise, thank you so much.
We're gonna get into a whole bunch of stuff here, but before we get into the the nitty gritty of the boxing world, man. First, I want to go to you, Frez. First, man. You know, you've had a decorated career, right? You were in the sport for quite some time. You fought the likes of James Toney, Holyfield. Like you've been in there with the big dogs, man. Being in the heavyweight division, was there like an aura? And that's the word that we use nowadays, right? Aura. Was there an aura to the division at the time that you were boxing, you feel, that cannot be compared to now in today's
It's interesting you bring that up, because a lot of my students, you know, with my boxing academy, they ask me those questions that they've seen tapes of mine back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they noticed that my aura was a little harder, you know, because nowadays, you know, we got the Deontay Wilders, we got the Usyks, the Furies, but in our era, it was pretty rough, man. I mean, we had the Lennox Lewis, myself, Holyfield, you know, just to name a few. Who else? David Tua, you know, strong head of James Toney, slick fighters. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, me personally, I think my era was way harder than today's era. They don't compare stylistically, defensively, and you know, we're from a harder cloth. You know, we came from the mud. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nowadays, you know, they getting paid, they getting a lot of substantial amount of money. You know, it's not that turkey. This guy, which is a good thing for boxing. You know, expanded the horizon of our sport, so these fighters get motivated and earn what they're supposed to be getting paid, which that should have been us back in the 2000s. But yeah, I think my era was pretty rough than nowadays.
I mean, Mike was in your era. You know what I'm saying? The
well, kind of, sort of, you know. He's older, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I was a little bit after that.
Yeah, but even so, even after that, there was still that, you know, that heavyweight like spark. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
People loved watching heavyweight boxing. Of course, it was because of Mike and Holyfield and guys like that. Yeah. But it you know, we had a taste of what could have been with the Tyson Fury, the Deontay Wilders, Anthony Joshua, Andy Reese. Like there was like something percolating, and we talked about it last episode how it was there and it's just gone because the guys that were supposed to win for these mega matchups weren't winning.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you bring that up. You know, and for the record, you know, of course, the Holyfield, Tyson, you know, and Lennox Lewis and those guys, they're from the 90s technically, you know, and the 2000, like, you know, me, who you say, Shannon Briggs, you know, and the 2000, you know, even Roy Jones went up and beat John Ruiz for heavyweight title, you know, so, and the David Tuas, even though he fought Lennox in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I would love, you know, even though I fought Evander Holyfield, I would have loved to fight Mike Tyson, and you know, but again, you know, we're a little younger. Our era was different. We're the 2000s, like the 90s, just like today's era, the 2020s, you know, the 2010s. You know, it just, to my experience and what I see, it doesn't compare to the 90s and the 2000 era.
You know, what was it like fighting a guy like Evander Holyfield, a guy who was, you know, later in his career, but still it was him, right?
Oh yeah, he's like a folklore legend. I mean, his aura. I mean, I did something. My kids brought it up to me the other day, like that Mike Tyson. I mean, couldn't do. I went 12 rounds and I pointed it. Even though, you know, if you see the fight, a lot of people to this day, even Fox News and other major networks thought I won, you know, points wise. But you know, he has that name, and if I didn't knock him out, it is what it is. But the good thing is, I still got my marbles. I'm okay.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And
hopefully you got paid.
Oh yeah, of course, exactly. Not nowadays, but yeah, it was like, man, fighting the man that I seen as a teenager when I was in high school, fighting, you know, he's fought the likes of George Foreman, you know, back in the 90s, back even in the 80s when he was a world cruiserweight champ. You know, he's been in the game for a minute, you know, and I was a shorty watching him when I was an amateur, and here I am fighting, you know, this behemoth, you know, as a pro. You know, it was like, wow, I'm fighting the man I seen fighting since I was a kid, and here I am. Yeah, in the limelight.
Yeah, you know, you also fought John Reese, a guy who you said, Roy Jones fought for the heavyweight title, made history.
Oh yeah, we made a little history of two Puerto Ricans, you know, going up and making
first time
history.
ever, right? Two Puerto Ricans at heavyweight.
First time ever. You know, unfortunately, you know, Don King's part of it. A lot of controversy, speculate, but the good thing is, it's crazy because I heard from Ruiz not too long ago. I haven't heard from over decades, man, and. Yeah, I guess he's doing pretty good. He's a security guard at a job. He's doing pretty decent now. Yeah, I've heard, because I haven't heard from him over a couple of decades, and it's good to see that he's doing okay. And a couple of the podcasts that interviewed me recently told me about him, and he was on that podcast. That's how I knew he was still, you know, alive and doing okay. So it was good to see former champions, you know, like the David Tour. You know, I seen him at the Hall of Fame last year in Atlantic City. So Shannon Briggs, you know, it's good to see the old fighters still staying positive and, you know, productive in their little lives, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like to hold my guests. I like to make questions, you know, kind of uncomfortable for guests. So I don't know if this is going to make him uncomfortable, but I'm going to ask you: do you take on people who in this heavyweight division nowadays? Do you compete and do some damage with the Anthony Joshua's and the, you know, those main stylistic fighters?
You know, like I said, they don't come from the same cloth, and you know they're given
dramatic answer there. Bow.
I mean, they're good fighters, they're good technical fighters. Even Du Bois, who knocked out Anthony Joshua. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my brother was at his fight when he fought in what was it? He fought in Florida like a year or two ago. It's interesting. My brother asked, "Hey, you heard of Frederick?" Yeah, man, I seen him fight when I was a kid, and it's crazy. Now he's the IBF heavyweight champ, knocked out Anthony Joshua last year. Yeah, and here I am, you know, like wow, seeing that kid like be a monster, you know, a favorite to win a undisputed championship because you know he's now, you know, and I like to fight, you know, like who's the new fighters like the Usyk, you know, so they want to do a rematch, you know, and the first fight I thought he beat Usyk, you know, he gave him a body shot, had him out, but you know, controversy sells and the referees, you know, stopped the fight. But that Du Bois guy, he's a dangerous kid, man. He's a dangerous. So be on the lookout for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your career, like I said, outstanding. For you to be able to win 30 bouts, you know, in a career, and just in general, it's still great, right? You know what I'm saying? And people don't know, people who don't box and don't train. This is one of the most gruesome sports. It's the most loneliest sports. Yes, it's one of the. I mean, to stay in shape in boxing, you know, boxing training is outmatched. It's bar none, right? Mm-hmm. So for you to be able to do that and have a successful career as you did is definitely commendable. Thank you. And being Boricua is even better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Always got to represent
Puerto Rico. I was the first born heavyweight champ. You know, Ruiz was the first Latino, and you know, he wasn't born in Puerto Rico, even though he's Puerto Rican. But I was the first born Boricua, Puerto Rican. You know, I was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, but I came in Chicago when I was a year old. So, you know, I've been repping Chicago from, you know, since I was one. But I went back to my country when I turned pro, and open arms, Tito Trinidad's father, Papa Trinidad, you know, took me in and brought me that confidence. And a lot of people didn't think the little skinny kid from the Lathrop Home Projects is going to be a heavyweight. And I made history, and here I am today in the Hall of Fame.
Was Tito Trinidad Senior smacking you in the face like
It's interesting you say that. He did when I was fighting my Fox national TV on Fox Sports, ESPN, stuff like that. He gave me he woke me up, and he didn't have to that much because I listened to him. I mean, he brought the best out of me. He gave me the confidence that they didn't think this 13-year-old kid who started boxing from the projects at Hamlin Park was even going to be a heavyweight, or a boxer. Yeah. And I did all the fight. Even my comrade Nate Jones, who's my crosstown rival from the Benny Green Projects. Yep. He was bronze medalist. He beat me in the Olympics trials. He went to Olympics, and here I am, turning pro, and I surpassed him, as a professional, as a world class heavyweight champ. And today now we're like brothers. Boxing makes us unite like never before, and we're saving lives. Helping a lot of these kids, these underprivileged, at-risk youth, which that I was and he was as well. Yeah. So it's great, man, to do boxing. That's
awesome. And one more thing too that we have. I know you have a foundation as well, where you're working with some things. What is it called? The
FOBA Foundation. Mm-hmm. It stands for Fres Oquendo Boxing Academy, and it prevents violence through boxing, because if it wasn't for boxing, me growing up in the housing projects, if I didn't have that outlet going to the projects, I probably would have been in the gangs, drugs, stuff like that. And I dipped into a little bit living in the projects. You have to hustle up a little bit, and I got caught for that, as a late teen. But ever since then, I ain't been back to jail, arrested ever since, and I'm a law-abiding citizen, and that's why I encourage all the youth to go to school, respect your elders, respect your family. I mean, that's so important. They're there from the get-go, and that's what I've been doing. Changing lives. Preventing youth violence through boxing.
That's dope, man. It's and a lot of people do need it, regardless. And it's a generational thing where it doesn't matter what generation. Yep. That you need things like this, foundations like this that can help the youth, because they're not mentally or even mature yet to even attack life the way it should be attacked. So and that's awesome. And where can they find you at?
Everybody can follow me on my Facebook on Fres Oquendo Boxing Academy. Fres Oquendo Boxing Academy, and on Instagram, FOBA Foundation, FOBA, FOUNDATION, FOBA Foundation. Yep. And then my regular name, Fres Oquendo. You can find me on my Instagram and Facebook, Fres Oquendo.
Very nice, very nice. Of course, my good friend over here, Jesus, from Northside Evanston Boxing. What's going on in the gym, bro? You guys got like 50 things going on every day. I see hundreds of boxers in the ring. You're using both rings. Then you got Muay Thai. You got all this stuff. Like, y'all just leveled up from like when last time I met y'all, right?
Yeah, we had a pretty big following now in the gym because of obviously the fighters that we have in our gym, and then the Muay Thai, the strength and conditioning class. We got like 9 different trainers, including myself, and then people just watching us, just seeing like, oh, where do they go, and then they want to start going there now. Yeah. So and then just a lot of big things going on right now. I'm actually going to Las Vegas on February 20th for the Golden Gloves Masters, so I should be there on the 20th. Then after that, we got the Golden Gloves coming out here in Chicago, and then we got the Battle of the Batches coming up too. Okay. Which when I was amateur, I got to fight it in a couple of years, and then I'm happy now that I'm actually a trainer and being and working the corner, and then I got this Puerto Rican dude that he won last year, and now there's a rematch. So he's starting to train more and more because he's like, I know that guy. He's gonna come with a vengeance, and we're like, but we just gotta get in there more and more and say that we can take it again this year.
The stories are built. The Golden Gloves, man. That's where the careers really start to determine where they're gonna go from there. Richard has that place running, smoothly. He's a guy of order. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know you know that firsthand. What does the gym offer? Like what new programs do they offer? Or just the ones that have been there before?
It's just the ones that have been there, but it's just gotten a lot bigger because a lot more people around the neighborhood have seen that are like, oh, okay, this is not like the other regular gyms that are just like kind of like aerobics. What they're doing there, we're actually teaching boxing. We're actually teaching people that just like want to know the art of it, or want to like be like, oh, I just want to know how to defend myself, not technically go into the fighting sport, but have that mentality of, okay, I can defend myself. So we teach anything from footwork, how to throw a proper jab, how to throw your right hands, your hooks, your combinations, how to use your head and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. That's dope. And I know you said you're still training, and you have your guys in the Golden Gloves. Are you still boxing?
Nah, right here and there I'll get
sparring.
Are you sparring? I'm sparring.
Okay. He's still sparring. My boy's still sparring.
The guys now is just like,
you're like,
nah, I'm good, bro. It's just like I'd rather just be the trainer, laid back, chill. You know, it's more mine. And now that I'm a little bit older, the whole training thing with my whole body, and I don't like feeling all that soreness. That's why. Yeah. For like now that I'm older, the soreness stays longer. It's not like when I was 15, 14. I'll get sore for like 2 days and I'll be all right. Now it's like I'll spar, then I'm sore for like a week and a half, and I'm just like, then I still gotta do my. It's over with, bro. Yeah, it's just like then I still have to train people, hold mitts and stuff like that, and then my arms are like all beat up. And I'm just like, this is not for me, man.
We call this getting old, big dog.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're here.
No, but I still go into it and be like, you know what? Try to teach these guys not to like get too big, basically.
Sure.
So I'll be like, hey, remember, I'm still a trainer, and I still know I'm teaching you everything that you know. So I still gotta get in there and show them who's balls and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's dope. And I can totally relate to you. I just played basketball on Sunday at my league. By the way, we got eliminated, lost by 25. LaShawn, you missed that, by the way. I'm glad you did. But the days after I play, I'm done. Yeah. I had 4 days to fully recover. I'm getting out the bed like this.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
It's not nice no more, man.
Totally relatable. Yeah. I'm gonna get back to you first in a second, but one last question for you, Jesus, in regards to the gym itself. You know, what do you recommend for someone who wants to start boxing? Because it's always, people look at the sport and they say it's too hard, but when they do get into it, they're looking for something like fitness or maybe mentally to get better with themselves or whatever that looks like. What do you recommend for someone who wants to join a boxing gym like yours or just wants to do boxing in general? How to mentally approach it?
Just do it. You just have to go into it, because boxing itself it's going to be a hard sport because you just have to go into it. Don't go into the mentality that I can't do it, or if you do come to a gym, don't look at the other guys and be like, oh, I'll never get there, because that's just a mentality thing that you have to overcome. Even after you're there for a couple of months, it's still you always have to fight your mind, because then let's say that you start sparring, then you're going to be like, oh, well, this guy's been there longer than me. He's going to beat me up. Yeah. And there's always, like, me personally think that if you overcome yourself mentality, then you're good. Yeah. Because, like I said, I can teach you whatever I want, but if it's up to the fighter to actually do it and overcome his fears, that be like, man, either I'm going to get punched or not or whatever, I'll just go through it and push through.
It's interesting what he brought that up, because in boxing, a lot of people don't know this. Maybe you might not know. Boxing is 80% mental and 20% physical. A lot of people don't know that. Like, well, yeah, if your mind's not right before you get in that ring, you lost the fight already. Right. Yeah. That's how Tyson used to intimidate a lot of fighters coming in back in the days. And, I thought I was saying that because he was accurate with that.
No, it's true. You know what? But I think boxing, for sure, is that. Again, on a minimal level, I say this. I ran 2 marathons before. Oh, wow. I was injured after both marathons. I ran 26.2 miles. First marathon, 2015. My thighs and groin were in total pain. The second one, my knees were in total pain. But it was in mile 20 where I told myself, I quit. I don't think I could do this anymore. And then I realized, holy crap, this is all mental. Like, I can do it. Let me tell myself to do it. And then I got to the finish line. Wow, so in boxing, I can even imagine you getting hit by somebody. And you have to be disciplined to say, I can take it and keep going and tell yourself, I'm going to beat. You know what I mean? Like, I just imagine the thoughts you're having in the fight.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I respect all y'all, man. If my eyes were better, I would have tried to box without a doubt. But yeah, man, it's an honor to talk to you about about your experiences, guys, and what you do. It's it's one of the things that people don't really look at in the sport of boxing. Not only that, but here in Chicago, my biggest goals in this show is to spotlight Chicago boxing trainers, fighters, up and coming guys, like that the world can see that there is a huge boxing community in Chicago, and it's slept on a lot. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The Chicago boxing is slept on nationwide.
Yep.
But it's a big culture here, and you guys are at the forefront of it. So I appreciate you guys sharing your experiences. Unfortunately today, Benavidez is fighting Morel, and it's going to be an amazing fight. This will air obviously next week after the fight, so we are sorry for that. But we are going to just talk about it slightly here real quick, not too long, because I am going to do a post fight show analysis on this fight. But Benavidez versus Morel, guys, is going to be fight of the year candidate already for me. Like I can't wait to see this fight. I believe Morel's going to hold Benavidez accountable. I think Benavidez is going to have to work very, very hard. Is he going to lose? I don't think that Benavidez lose. I think he pulls out the win. But how do you guys feel about this fight?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. Benavidez, a lot of people, not just me, I mean, like you all probably thinking, this Morel guy is very talented. He's from that Cuban regime. I mean, very technical, very savvy, very smart, young. But Benavidez, I know him personally. Actually, he's on my Instagram, and we good friends. But the guy is a freak of nature, figure of speech. he may not look like a strong built, Mike Tyson. No, style makes fights. And when he fought Andrade, what's his name?
Andrade?
Yeah, Andrade. Mm-hmm. I even thought Andrade was going to give him the blues. I mean, style makes fights. He's a softball. I'm like, man, it's going to be. It's a pick-em fight. I was shocked that I even said that, but stylistically wise and experience-wise, I thought Andrade were able to give him fits. But that was one of his greatest victories against a very accomplished amateur world champion fighter. So even though he's fighting this Morel kid, got the Cuban regime and all that, but in the pros, a whole different ballgame. I heard he only got 13 fights? How many fights he has?
Andrade?
Yeah. No, not Andrade. Morel, the one Benavidez fighting tonight.
He's at 18 fights.
18 fights.
Yeah,
so
18-0.
Exactly. So the experience in the pro level is well different than the amateur, and that's why I give Benavidez a major edge, because it's gonna be rough in the first few rounds. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that kid's a talented, a magician, but those middle rounds, later rounds, we're gonna see Benavidez pour on and give him the blues. Would he stop him? I don't know. I mean, the Cuban's pretty tough, but I don't see Benavidez losing. I mean, it's going to be kind of rough for that kid to really take the win out of Benavidez. Yeah. You guys give me your take.
Zeus?
Yeah, I think that Benavidez is going to win, too. I don't see Morel. He's technically good, but I don't see him, he'll give him a good fight. That's it. That was it.
Yeah,
he'll give him a good fight, but like I said, probably I'm pretty sure Benavidez is going to take it.
Yeah.
No
te estamos faltando respeto, Morel. I promise you, bro. No te estamos faltando respeto. But yeah, it's definitely one of those fights that you see Benavidez winning, but I feel like this is a fight that you have a young guy, technically sound, the key words right there, where how Lara and them boys, they fight in pockets, stick and jab, move, and Morel does have that ability. So I want to see what Benavidez does with it. I'm not too worried, because we saw Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, and Caleb's one of the most technically sound boxers in the sport right now. I just think Morel is a little bit bigger, and he'll be able to do a little more damage. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to talk too much about it, because it's today, but we do apologize to our audience that we are going to discuss it fully after the fight. Going into boxing itself right now in 2025, there's a lot of headlines that we're looking forward to. First thing I'll just ask you guys is Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. They have fights coming up, right now in the first half of the year, and they're expected to fight in September. I got to ask you, Frez, have you ever heard of a boxer suing another boxer for battery?
That's crazy. I know, and that's unfortunate when your outside group, your team. Like Devin Haney's dad, he does, stuff that's not, productive for his son. Unfortunately, I don't want to say the words, but, it is what it is, and you know how they say style make fights. He had a little substance, you know, this kid Garcia, but now you know a personal friend of mine is training Devin Haney, one of my partners at the moment, my nemesis in amateurs, Nate Jones, is doing a pretty good, you know, decent job, you know, getting him sharpened up and all the gaining his confidence, you know, this Haney guy. But again, you know, when I see sometimes the post they be putting out, the father still pretty much dictate, and sometimes Nate has to like look for his approval, and those signs I kind of worry him some to me. You know, I mean, I don't want to bring it up to my partner. You know, he's doing his thing.
Sure,
I want the best, but it's unfortunate. Haney's dad's pretty much the one that's like the director of everything. No, I want it this way. I want the pads be hit. You know, you should let the trainer do their job and let it go organically. But unfortunately, you know, I guess in Devin Haney's, that's what I've been hearing through his former inner circles with other trainers that he had, that, you know, the father sometimes too a little controlling, and which they said it probably be his downfall, and it showed in that Garcia fight. But hopefully I got a lot of love for my brother, for my Cabrini Green Project brother, you know, that he might, you know, get the best out of, you know, Devin Haney and win the rematch, you know. But it all depends, you know, is his father going to be too controlling, you know, micromanaging him? That's the question I'm questioning. Hopefully, you know, my guy be able to do his work. So I'm hoping, you know, the best for Devin, but we'll see.
Yeah, and boxers got to deal with, number one, you know, the trainer outside noise, and then the fight. You know, there's two completely different worlds they have to end up dealing with, and you got to come out on top of it. So I totally get it. Jesus, how do you feel the second fight will happen? How do you think that fares? Do you think Haney finally puts the left hand up and right hand up and blocks?
No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be the same thing as the first fight. I think Ryan probably won't knock him out, but he'll still come up victorious over Haney. Yeah, but hopefully, like he said, because I know Nate too, and hopefully he does help him out, and he gets to do his thing. And if he does get to do his thing with David Haney, he could win. Yeah, he could win it.
Yeah, no, it will be a good fight. Again, I think that's the most anticipated fight of 2025. Yeah. Honestly, as of right now, I want to see the rematch. So the storyline has been set, the drama is there. Yeah, so we can't wait to see it. No enhancing going on with Ryan Garcia. Frez, I gotta ask you. I'm gonna ask you one question, and you just could be completely honest with me. How do you feel about Jake Paul?
I mean, I don't know if you guys see my social media, my Instagram, Facebook. I called him out. You know, he responded. I mean, he looked at all my posts. You know, I got his ear. But his former trainer, BJ Flores, I guess when his ear, Jake Paul brought him back to reality. You know, Frez at his age, 50. Even though he's 50, he's still crafty, still dangerous. So I was calling him out last year. You know, I was in Florida. You know, he was at some event. We were at the same event. But he was looking at my stuff, but, you know, try to fetch him in. But, you know, I don't know if he's going to go for that. But, you know, he's doing a pretty decent thing for the boxing world. You know, he gave a lot of notoriety and stuff like that. You know, it's just, you know, the fighters he handpicked, like Mike Tyson, one of the heroes that I started boxing watching. You know, that was a sad scene, and I didn't appreciate that. You know, I'm pretty sure he feels like, you know, like crap for even fighting this awesome legend and making him look kind of bad. You know, Tyson wasn't really physically fit to even train. You know, right. You could tell he had and I mean, it's sort of a black eye to boxing, but at the end of the day, their pockets got filled. You know, and you know that's all they care at the moment. You know, they got all these. What network was it? That was
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah. I mean. It broke records. I mean, even when I was trying to watch it, I couldn't watch it because it's still, it's buffering all the time. So they did a good thing for that. You know, that fight generated more than the current heavyweight champions, which is shocking.
Yeah. Well, we call that fight the agreement. That's what that fight was called. Yeah. The agreement. You know, just give me 10 rounds and I'll put 10 million. What was it? What did Mike make? 10 million or?
I think he made a little bit more.
He made more than
20 million. Thank you, student for AIMS. Thank you, appreciate that. 20 million, right? 20 million.
25, I think.
25 million. Yeah. Jake made what, 40 60 or 80, whatever. I mean, ridiculous numbers. Yeah. We call that fight the agreement. Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, Jesus, right now, there's this thing within the lightweight divisions, right, where we're dying to see a Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta fight. We're dying to see Teofimo take on, Shakur or Gervonta, right? Yeah. We wanted to see Loma come in there and take care of Gervonta, right? Or not, I mean, just fight, right? And Shakur, or whatever the case may be. So many things happening that's not happening in the lightweight division, and a lot of it is because of injuries and promotional reasons, right? Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia, His Majesty is making things happen. Okay, do you think that he takes over boxing? Does that narrative hold true? He's gonna just do Dana White and say, "I got this."
Yeah, I believe it, and he has the money for it. So. Yeah,
and Fred's over there tweaking. He's like, man, I would have done it in a
I know, man. Why can't be a man? All these kids.
Yeah, I do believe he will take over and he will do a lot of great things for the boxing. Because he's already doing a bunch of stuff for that I love seeing now that like back then, like how Fred was saying, like the generation back then and the generation of boxing now is completely different. There's too many champions. Nobody wants to fight nobody. And as of what I heard, he's trying to put in that rule again that you have to fight the next top contender. Yep. And if you don't, you lose your belt. So that's a great thing that hopefully he gets to accomplish because I want to see all the big fights. Like I hate seeing all these cherry picking guys, dude. Like it's like if you're the best, prove that you're the best and fight the best. Don't fight like the number 3 guy, the number 4 guy, and then be like, I'm a world champion and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean, it's something crazy to see, like all the fights that are happening. But on top of the things that are happening, it's the money.
Yeah,
the money that they're paying these guys. Like, wow, And if I was a boxer, I'd tell Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn and all these guys, bye. And so it's definitely interesting to see. It's a new era of I think promotions that's coming for boxing. I think that we will see the fights. And honestly, as scary as it is, because as a boxing fan, a purist, I love seeing Golden Boy. I like seeing the promotional companies be together, Don King and the old school guys, Top Rank. But if Saudi is gonna, if His Majesty is going to make this happen, Turkey's gonna make this happen. What I want to see more of is the states. Bringing the product to the states in such a way that's representable and marketable. Because last time we had, Terrence Crawford in Cali last year. And great card, but the presentation of it with concerts and Eminem coming out, that threw me off. I don't know how you feel, Frez, about the presentation of it. Is it too much, or do you like the old school? You got to bring your dogs with you outside.
Right. See, that's the cloth I came from. But nowadays, people want entertainment and that. So for money-wise, financial reasons, it was a success. But like you said, I'm more the old school, throwback, going there, strictly business, all this entertainment stuff. Not really necessary, but for the new fans, the new era, I guess it makes it turns that needle to that side. Yeah,
one of the other hot boxing topics is the name Gervonta Davis, and he's fighting Roach coming up very soon here. I made a controversial, not even controversial. I made a statement on social media. I said, don't nobody want to see this fight. Nobody wants to see this fight. Now, we know why, because there's no one available for Gervonta at the moment. But my question really is, for both of you, is Gervonta's a superstar.
Yeah.
But he doesn't generate the numbers that a Canelo, a Mayweather,
right,
maybe even a Benavidez at this point, makes, right? The arenas will fill, but just people don't really tune in. So do you consider Gervonta like close to the face of boxing, at least top 3? How do you feel about Gervonta in itself as a whole?
Well, what I've heard recently, he's brought ideas that he might not want to fight no more. He wants to retire, which was shocking to me. So people are like kind of confused. Are you going to fight? Now he's got this fight coming up with the Roach guy, you say?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with him. I've never seen him fight. So, I'm pretty sure this is one of those guys. So, to answer your question, I don't know if he has that fire. I mean, his fire is leaving. Ellerby, who's also from the same city and state he's from, I guess they not talking no more. So he's been going through a lot of, emotional, mental, distress. And for a fighter, it brings a lot of cloud, in their minds. And And it could be dangerous, you know. I mean, especially in a fight like this, that a lot of people don't even know this guy. I mean, upsets do happen, you know, just like the Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson back in the 90s when I was a kid watching that. I never thought I was witnessing the greatest upset in sports history at the time. And, you know, he's got some soul searching to do. It seems like mentally he's not, like, focused in his, you know, in his foregone conclusion, you know, and find the big fights, you know.
Yeah. How do you feel about
the same? You know, but I do feel like he's a good fighter, but like the whole promotion wise, yeah, I feel like they need to work on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But also he needs to fight better fighters too, though.
Oh yeah.
And then that's where the promotion comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I would love to see him with Lomachenko or one of the other guys, Teofimo or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he didn't, or the negotiations didn't happen, and
Yeah.
hopefully soon we get to see one of them fight.
Yeah, no, we do. I think that will help that part, right?
Yeah.
Fighting the bigger
big
names
time.
for sure, and nothing but respect for Gervonta. I mean, he's
Right.
battled all his fighters, and he's proved how much
yeah.
he's on a different stratosphere than them. So, but we definitely want to see that when it comes to Gervonta Davis. You know, fellas, Canelo and Crawford. I mean, the idea was out there last year, and supposedly in September, per reports, they're gonna try to make this happen. Frez, you're the pro. Does Terrence have a chance versus Canelo?
I don't see. I know. I'm a realist. I just can't see a junior middleweight fight who's a light heavyweight. I mean, who's skillful, who's powerful, who's talented. I mean, I just can't see it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Canelo is one of the most rugged, coldest, probably the greatest Mexican fighter in the history, you know, in Mexico sports, which Chavez had held that throne. You know, Chavez is a monster, a body snatcher, and can't even compare to Canelo. So, yeah, it's a big. I mean, it's sad, man. I mean, it's like, why are you putting this guy against this big? I mean, I don't know. That don't make sense.
The weight classes for a reason, you know, narrative is a true thing, right? In boxing.
Big time. Big time.
5 pounds, 10 pounds is huge.
Well, in that case, it's more than that. That's like,
In this case, it's
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that, not even that, he was 10, 50. But, man, over like 50, I mean, he's a light heavyweight champion. You know, Canelo won that. Now, this guy just moved up to junior middleweight. I mean, I don't see it. I just, as skillful as Terrence Crawford is, he could have the mass skills and all that, but the thunder and the punches, I mean, he's going to get hit. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to take it.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you that in the same thing, Susan, in a second, but it reminds me of like when Cotto fought Canelo, right? Where
Perfect example.
Cotto, powerful puncher for his
Yes.
division. That fight was at 154, I think?
Yeah,
Against-
something like that, yeah.
And it just didn't phase Canelo.
Nothing.
It was just like,
Yep.
that's what it felt like to Canelo.
Perfect example,
But when
yes.
Canelo would,
I mean,
Yeah.
move everything. Everything.
yeah. But go ahead. I'm
Good
sorry. How do you feel?
No, yeah, it's exactly like you said it, which kind of sucks because I was like a big, huge Crawford fan.
Yeah.
Not only because of his skill wise, but because one of his trainers is Guatemalan too. So that's why, and I like all his, like, he's one of the trainers I watch the most. And there's Pedro Diaz, I watch him a lot too. But like I said, when it comes to Crawford and Canelo, I wish Crawford was in a heavier weight, like to compare them, so he can have like a better opportunity to win. But I don't see him taking it. Like, even with all the skills that he has and stuff like that, I feel like Canelo's still he's a dog. He's gonna take it.
Yeah. And we even saw Crawford. He moved up in weight his last fight when he was in Cali, and he had some problems.
He did.
He had some problems.
He got hurt in that fight.
But he was as fast as him. Maybe not. There was a skill differential to where Canelo or Crawford just had enough. To outlast him.
Right.
If that's happening in one weight division pull up, what's happening with Canelo?
Yeah.
The almost top,
That 3 weight, I mean, that's a big
insane,
mountain, man.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, but it still should be an intriguing fight. I think the first 4 rounds, what Canelo does, sits,
Regular casual
relaxes,
fan would love to see that. Yeah.
and they open up. And he did that with Berlanga. Berlanga did an amazing job. Finally used his jab, which I was like, learn how to throw your jab, bro.
Finally, right.
And he finally did it. So, real quick, guys, before we do wrap up, what do you want to see happen in boxing in 2025? Like, what do you it doesn't matter. Like, if there's anything you want to see boxing do in 2025 for you as a fan, as a former boxer, right, as a trainer, what would you want to do? I'll start with you first, Jesus. What do you want to see happen in boxing in 25?
For sure, the Benavidez versus Canelo fight.
Oh man,
for sure, that has to happen, man. Because it's just like.
Yep.
That's like I would rather watch that fight. I would rather watch that fight than the Crawford and Canelo fight.
Of course.
Yeah, like 100%.
Real boxing fans want to see that.
Y'all know, you know what I'm talking about.
So yeah, I would love to see that Benavidez and Canelo fight.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
High five.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was corny and cheesy, but that's exactly how I feel. I want to see that fight too. Right. Frez, what about you, man?
Like what he just said, we need to bring those big fights, and that guy Turkey is the man that make it happen. I mean, all these other promoters, the Eddie Hearn, the Top Rank, I'm surprised Don King's still living. Him and these other promoters, and the networks. There's only too many networks nowadays. But it's with this Turkey guy, I mean, he's doing a great thing for our sport. Sport that we love so dearly. I wish. Like I said, I wish he was in the 2000s. But anyway, for boxing now, he's pretty much like a savior. I mean, he's putting these fights, these good fights, that these promoters couldn't put. He's making it happen slowly but surely. And I kind of heard that he's interested in, like he was saying it earlier, that he wants to have this organization, to have undisputed, fighter, one champion in each weight division. That's going to be a great thing. People are going to follow that. And like, you were saying earlier, he has the funds to do it. And boxing needs that. I think we deserve that. I think we're supposed to be recognized as the world sport, like an NBA, NFL, a soccer league. They get that real money. Unfortunately, during my era, we didn't have that opportunity. Even though we fought world-class, hundreds of $1 million type of fights, but we didn't get that. We had the Don Kings that take 90% of it, which I was a victim of when I fought John Ruiz. I'm thinking, when he gave me this check, is this a joke? I was supposed to make a couple of million. You give me 97,000. I mean, I'm saying it out there because it is what it is, and boxing needs to wake up, and people need to protect it, and that's why I appreciate Turkey doing that, for fighters like myself and many other fighters that Don King took advantage from, and other promoters that took advantage from all these other fighters. That's got to stop, and Turkey's the man with honesty, dignity, treating the fighters how they're supposed to be treated.
Well, there you go. If you had a campaign model, man, this guy right here got it for you. That's dope, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you both in studio, man. Boxing is an amazing sport. There's nothing like two guys trying to beat each other to death almost, and then you shake their hand after that and say good fight. There's nothing like it.
They call it a gentleman's sport. People are like, gentleman's sport. They're savage. No, it was a gentleman because, like what you said, after the fight, after we grueling, beating the dog out of each other, blood, sweat, and tears, we're like brothers.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm going to go box now. To the air. Right. The Parley is sponsored by 6040 Club. Don't forget to check them out. And, of course, as you know, our sponsors for Jarison Medina, again, he takes good care of you. Again, the link is in the description box. Check out all his services. You want to make sure that you guys check it out. He is doing big things for the community, especially if you are in financial struggles. You got to check it out right there. It is amazing. Next episode, I promise you, Kendall will be in studio. I did a small moment of silence because he's probably not going to be in studio. He hates when I say that, by the way, but that's why I'm saying it. KG's always, a good sport about it, but he is going to be with us in the next episode, and we appreciate everybody for following us. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Everything's in the description box, guys. We're on all platforms, boxing all the time, representing Chicago, and sometimes some sports. We didn't get a story time. We have a story time with Kendall Gill segment that we do. We're not having it this show, but you guys should tune into it. It's very interesting. Halle Berry is part of the last one. Go check it out. It's the Parley. Tilo here for the Parley. Kendall Gill, 15-year NBA veteran in the building as always. Hey, man, if you like what you just saw, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You guys got to follow us. Season 7 is going to be insane. We are going to be here. We hope you are here for it. But, Kendall, let's go. On the court, I need my rematch. That 10-0 game was a fluke. Let's go.
Tilo, as the great Floyd Mayweather once said, there are levels for a reason. There are weight classes for a reason. You're messing with a heavyweight, a professional basketball player. You're a lightweight. I don't want to take your confidence away from you, Tito. Okay, you've been doing
Let's go.
well in your
Let's
rec
go.
leagues. You've been winning championships in your rec
Let's
league.
go.
Stay on that level.
Let's go now.
Well, you go practice.